Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego. Oh, wait, that's a briefcase sporting thief. It's a briefcase sporting thief. Da, da, da. 6 men, 6 women, and we've got the screws. And Becky stole the title from Lyra too. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego. Oh, wait, that's a briefcase sporting thief. Just a briefcase sporting thief. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Money in the Bank 2025. Who remembers that cartoon? Man, what a weird time it was for cartoons in the early 90s. That being said, let me know what you thought of this show in the comments, please. The Worlds Collide review will come up after this because I had to work because that sweet, sweet dollar is more important. I got home in time for this. I'm aware the stuff happened on Worlds Collide. As with any wrestling event, stuff will usually happen, good, bad, or indifferent. So they were in the Intuit Tacoma, the Intuit TurboTax Tacoma Dome. No, it's the Intuit Dome, of course. Crazy. How crazy. If they wish that the Tacoma Dome could have a show like this. I was at the Tacoma Dome with the last wrestling show that they had. Oh boy. Yeah, check out my Wrestle Dream 2024 review. Englewood, California. 18,000 seating capacity, roughly, and they had that thing jammed full. They had 4 matches announced. They had a 5th one during Worlds Collide. So, Victor Solomon, not King Solomon, sung America the Beautiful. I don't know who he is. They said he was on The Voice. That's one of the many singing competitions. But that being said, sponsored by Cash App. Literally Cash App on the briefcase. And numerous sponsors. Look, I understand that New Japan's been doing that for years with their ring mat, but just they were able to pull it off. Just something about the WWE stuff, the TKO partnership, it's off-putting. So we have Cody, Jay, and his son arriving. He shall call him Mini Yeet. There's going to be a lot of jokes in this because I don't have a lot to say about the matches because there were good parts, and oh boy, were there some parts that I will just shred. 28 years of coal. It doesn't feel a day over about 3 times that. So, I thought there were a lot of empty seats, but I forget that's how the lighting is in the dome. It looks great, and the crowd was certainly loud for at least part of this. So, Naomi's theme is certainly a choice. It's weird. Stephanie, my word, what a woman she is. Julia, good grief. And Rhea, I had to check to make sure the roof was still attached. Rhea got a big old pop. So I want to say something about Roxanne Perez really quickly. I like Roxanne Perez. She's not my absolute favorite. But whoever leaked her personal address online, I really hope that person is charged to the fullest extent of the law. And they are put in jail and hopefully brutalized. And they deserve that. If you are going to target wrestlers like this, just because you don't like them to that point. It's one thing to say mean comments. But it's another thing entirely to talk, to post their personal information. I may get a little personal later, but I'm not going to post her personal information. So I feel bad for Roxanne. Hopefully she's going to be all right. So we get the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase sponsored by Cash App. It's actually the match, but the briefcase is sponsored by Cash App, as I said. Rhea, Stephanie Vacour, Julia, Naomi, Roxanne, and Alexa Bliss. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is Alexa Bliss. 18 minutes into a 3-hour plus show. 5 matches, and I know they got to plug the sponsors, they got to plug the merch, they got to do that, they got to sell. I get that. But God damn it, it's nauseating. The crowd is up for this at first. Bliss is dreadful. I know that she just came back at the Rumble, and she's never been the best bump taker, and I know she had a kid, and I know she's had injuries. Make her a manager. Good God, do not ever. They had to force her to even take like a gut bump like on a ladder. I think it was Roxanne and Julia, if I recall correctly. So, Roxanne did hit a Rana onto Rhea on the ladder and hit a nice moonsault. That was very good. And so they buried Rhea under a whole bunch of ladders. Julia was on Stephanie's back, unless it was that dream I had. And get Alexa out of here, please. For the love of God, get Alexa out of here. She is brutally bad. So, and I know there are people that are fans of hers. You can be a fan of her all you want. You cannot say that she was very good in this. I'm not saying she needs bumped like crazy to the point that she's breaking her body, but At least try. So, Rhea then wakes up and she's mad. The devil's kiss on the ladder. I mean, who would want to be squeezed between Stephanie Vacoura's thighs and slammed down? Who would want that? Me. I would want it, and I don't know who wouldn't. The crowd died 20 minutes in. Seriously, the crowd just went silent. It's like somebody flipped a switch. 2 code reds, simultaneous code reds on ladders. I will not credit Alexa for that because her opponent really had to try to make her look good. The drone shot of Julia and Roxanne, the standing drone shot while they're up there, that's great. That's one thing I will say about the TKO partnership. Despite some bullshit that they've done, that was a beautiful shot. That was some good stuff. And then basically we just get we get more move. We get Rhea and Alexa facing off. It's like somebody, death by snoo versus like Kif. Except Kif, I think, had more muscle tone and size. Naomi suddenly ended up winning this thing. It was equal parts spectacular at times, but also a mess. And yeah, Pyro, Naomi won the briefcase. That's good. And I think what needs to happen is Jade needs to cost her, the chance of cashing in multiple times. And Naomi needs to beat Jade, or Jade, at SummerSlam. And then you can have Naomi cash in. It'll work. It'll mean something. I'd say have her cash in on the NXT title, but I don't think that'll work. Have her cash in on, it would be Tiffany. And, honestly, to be quite honest, I'd be okay with that. If Tiffany holds a title for that long. So, good stuff as far as Naomi winning. Match itself had some issues. So, Dominic earlier challenged Octagon Jr. I called him Octogenarian Jr. because I'm an asshole. Jay versus Gunther match on Raw. Now, I said I was going to watch Raw until a little bit later. I've not actually watched a full Raw since the Raw after Mania. And Liv coming out for getting her pants. Kier, I haven't done this in a while. Stop thinking about it. No, you're thinking about it. Kier, what is wrong with you? You were 3,000 miles away. Not even 3,000 miles to Graceland. I guarantee you don't know what that movie is because you're a lot younger than I am. Stop thinking about Liv without her pants. But I don't think Liv owns pants. Who would want to see Liv without pants? Stop it. All y'all. I run a clean show here. So, Kier's a great guy, by the way. He's a great guy. That being said, Dominic with Liv in his corner without her pants against Octagon Jr. They got with Dominic. Why was Octagon Jr. dressed like Blitzkrieg from WCW for no goddamn reason? So it was fine. It was short. Liv distracted. Dominic won. Moving on. So, the insertion of Liv Morgan. Again, Kier, what is wrong with you, man? What is wrong with you, Kier? You have to take it easy. Seriously, somebody's going to be watching you. Like Rockwell. Do you get that reference? Does anybody get that reference? Because I know my audience skewers old, but come on. So, Gable is then posing with the fireball ladder. And the Creeds are acting all stupid. Fitting, because I have been completely turned off of the Creeds. I do not want to see any of this American-made stuff. And he says, hide the fireball ladder so El Grande Fappuccino can find it. And I know what his name is. It's a stupid gimmick. And anybody who came up with it deserves to be banned from wrestling. Now I'm going to blame Triple H for it. So the fireball ladder. I was driven to drink, and I haven't drank in a number of years. But I felt like drinking after watching that spot. So... we see, how people are still picking up the pieces from the wildfires. There's one family that lost their home. Absolutely terrible. Let's do what we can to donate. And if you're in the area, still try to help people if you can. Lyra and Becky make their entrances. Lyra, I noted, had job face. I'm not, or maybe it was just her looking determined, and maybe that's just such. I like Lyra, but she took on Becky with the weird hair. And as for the IC title, the women's IC title, it was hard to call this one. I had a feeling they might end up going the way they did, but I was hoping they wouldn't. But it is what it is. Lyra jumpstarts. This was a little bit better than their Backlash match. It seemed like, they worked the bugs out. Them! And Lyra did Lyra had gear issues, had to have the referee, clasp her. So there was a gut wrench bomb for 2. There's Let's Go Becky. Becky sucks chance, I believe. There was an armbar. There was an ankle lock. There was a barricade leg drop. That was beautifully done. There was a Nightwing outside. There was a top rope manhandle slam. There was all this stuff mixing up. I'm kind of bunching around the spots here. But the top rope manhandle slam didn't win it. And then we got the post spot, which sounded really loud. And then the Nightwing outside. They beat the count out. And then, after a little bit of back and forth, Becky managed to hold the tights 1, 2, 3. And even though you would have thought the referee would have seen it, maybe on the replay, can't do that. The stipulation was, by the way, if Becky lost, she couldn't challenge for the title. She won. Lyra had to raise her hand, prove she's a better woman. Becky pushed her luck. Lyra hit her with a couple Germans. And there we go. Blitzkrieging right there because of the Germans. Tomorrow belongs to her. What is wrong with me? So, Money in the Bank by the numbers. By the way, Travis Barker, and Kourtney Kardashian are there. All the Kardashians and Jenners, by the way, are fucking fools and trash heaps. That goes back to the mother and father. Bruce. And I'll say that because I don't care, because they don't deserve that respect. I do not care if that is seen as offensive. Because you can't change who you are and then go back like on like any morality and try to be like they are. So yeah, Bruce. So nevertheless, it's terrible family. And I do not care. The fact that they're procreating is even worse. Timothy Chalamet needs to get the fuck away from Kylie, I think. Whatever. So, Heyman better get used to those flames in Rollins' entrance for all the stuff he did to the ECW talents and made them do to themselves and pocketed all the money and everything, and now has this great, contract and all this money. Well, so many of them are dead because he just was a fucking coward and a bad businessman, a bad promoter. Men's Money in the Bank match, sponsored by Fireball. Again, I felt like drinking while watching some of this. Seth, Pheasant, Rollins, Penta, Andrade, El Olio, Solo, LA Knight, and El Grande Fappuccino. Now, last night, Solo kind of called Jacob Fatu dumb. I don't know why you would do that, considering Jacob Fatu could kill you if he was within half a mile of you. Solo is not good. He is just not. He is never going to be the main eventer that they need. He was fine as the Street Fighter in NXT, and even, as the understudy of Roman, the leader of the Bloodline. No, he's not ready. He's never going to be ready. The commentary was abysmal. Wade kept talking about Gable's nipples for some reason. I don't know why. They chanted for Gable. I hope the Lakers never win another world championship because these fans don't deserve to see that. So, and by the way, if I'm wrong, then the Clippers. I don't know what team plays there. None of those LA Inglewood sports teams deserve goddamn, recognition as far as championships if you guys are going to cheer a goddamn bullshit gimmick like this. Everybody just tumbles off of ladders. Like, there were parts to this that I didn't mind. I was really worried they were going to give it to Grande Fappuccino. Destroyer on the ladder to Andrade, El Olio. The Fireball ladder. And then the loaded mask. I felt like being loaded while watching this. A headbutt to Penta. And then a German to Gable. Lots of Germans. Lots of blitzkrieging going on here. And then everyone got up high. Rollins then calls out to the Goon Squad, or call the Brute Squad. I'm the Brute Squad. You're the Brute Squad. So Braun shows up, hits a spear. Here comes Bronson, shows up to fix Emmett. And they destroy, and this takes a while. And then Solo is pointed at, this is after everybody's destroyed. I'm skipping over this. Solo is shown, oh no, can't do this. And suddenly Jacob Fatu's music hits. And him and Jeff Cobb, and I'm sorry, JC Matei, I know why they did it. They did it to have the name. It's stupid. I mean, I know it's supposed to be Park Matanza, but that's Lucha Underground. And I have, I have socks that are older than Lucha Underground. Actually, I don't. But I have shirts that are older than Lucha Underground. I also have shirts that have held up better than Lucha Underground, because look, after season 2 of Lucha Underground, 3 had its moments and 4 was dog shit because of Jake Hager. That being said, Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb show up. And 4 of the young superstars in WWE. Jeff Cobb, as much as I love him, is 42 years old. Jacob Fatu is in his mid-30s. Bronson's about mid-30s, and Steiner's in his late 20s. And Heyman's the size of 2 planets. So yeah, the pop-up Samoan drop to Here Comes Bronson because Jacob Fatu is a freak of fucking nature. And then he dives because he's a freak of fucking nature. So, the stump to solo, all this stuff's going on. Rollins looked like he was going to win, but then all this stuff's going on. And, all this crazy shit. Spear through the barricade. Jeff Cobb's down. Solo is put up there by Jacob Fatu, and then he stops him. Says, I hate you, Solo. Hits the kick. Hits that beautiful moonsault. And then hits a Uranagi on him through a ladder, which it looked like Solo really hurt himself. I hope he's okay. And then Seth brings out the fireball ladder, which I thought Here Comes Bronson destroyed. LA Knight shows up and tries to stop him, but is unable to because Seth wins. Mania is in Vegas next year because they had more money on the table and whatever. I'm not going. They could have Mania in Seattle. I'm never going. So they showed some celebrities. Apparently, one, according to local Soundwave, is a Hispanic that likes to say the N-word and decides to suck at the teat of the disgraced president that some of you idiots voted for. So, fuck him. Fuck him and fuck his family. Nikki Bella's going to return to Raw. So remember what I said about reviewing Raw? I don't know if I'm going to do that now. And I know Nikki Bella's gone through a lot of stuff. It's bullshit. It's bullshit she has to pay anything to that piece of goddamn shit. But she's away from him. The kids are away from him. We don't need Nikki Bella back in the ring in 2025. I understood the Rumble appearance. But Evolution 2 is what people are saying. They have so many underutilized women that are wrestling currently on their roster. They have plenty of women that they could use. But no, let's bring back her. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Watch it be her and Brie. Because I'm just not allowed to have nice things happen. Cody makes his entrance. Jay makes his entrance through the crowd. Logan makes his entrance, filming his own and everything. It's a damn shame that phone didn't blow up in his face. John Cena makes his entrance. And look, I'd feel bad about what I say about Logan Paul, but the Japanese forest thing. The crypto scam. All the bullshit. The guy's been a piece of shit for years, but he can do fancy flips and rehearse his matches and do this. He takes risks that he doesn't need to. But also, at the same time, the novelty wore off at least a year ago with him. And now, it's just him showing up. It's the law of diminishing returns. People say well, that happened with Andy Kaufman in Memphis. And the difference is Andy Kaufman actually loved wrestling. I don't believe Logan does. I had nothing for this because it took twice as long as it needed to get to where it got. Cena's spot calling is insanely loud. He needs to just stop it. Please, Cena. Stop doing it. And Cena and Logan getting a shoving match after beating up Jay. I'm trying to teach you. Well, then teach me. Shoving match. Mom, the girls are fighting in front of Cody and Jay again. And Logan slipped. Damn shame he didn't, slip and land badly in front of his wife and child. Yeah, he was allowed to procreate. Some dumb broad thought that it was a good idea to do that. Yeah, I'll call her a dumb broad. So, Crossroads. And then Logan hits a splash on Cena because Cody moved. There was a drone shot where Logan he was going to hit a move. Cody then hit a superplex while Logan held the drone. And the drone kind of turned over. And Jay hit a splash. It was a noble effort, and at least it was different. So, the drone took a better bump than Alexa, I do want to say. And then a spear to John Cena where I am the table. The announcer's table did not break. Asai moonsault to Jay. I think Jay really got hurt because he looked like, or at least he had the wind knocked out of him. And then belt to the head, and John Cena looks like he's going to get the victory even though the referee's distracted. Suddenly somebody in a hoodie attacks John Cena. Truth gets a big old pop when he reveals who he is, peeling off that hood. And then Cody hits a crossroads, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one of two things. They decide that they're going to use Truth until his contract is not renewed, or until his contract, is totally expired, or they relented, they caved, and decided to give him maybe a new 1-year deal or something. Or maybe we were just worked the whole goddamn time. I don't necessarily know if we were worked. I just hope that Truth is happy with what he's doing. And it was certainly surprising, I will say that much. That being said, I don't mind Valhalla being gone, and Carlito being gone doesn't really matter because he hasn't really done anything. But if Truth really should be one of the ambassadors of the company, if not the ambassador of the company. And Cody got the victory, hooray, in his first match since WrestleMania, which feels like it took place about 6 months ago, but actually was only about 6 weeks ago. That being said, that was Money in the Bank. Hooray, no cash-ins. We're going to get a cash-in, I think, on Monday. In case I don't review Raw, I think Seth is going to try to cash in, and Punk is going to stop him, because Punk is going to make Rollins' life a living hell until the briefcase is on the line at like SummerSlam or something. Agree, disagree what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Renthland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.